man, you know what? I'm not 68, but you're only 3 pounds off.
You can fight Canelo if you're at 68.
I'm a few pounds over, but I'm still in fighting weight for any time. And I don't mean the ring. I mean, you got to stay ready, not get ready. And that's our motto, me and Oscar. We always tell our fighters, don't get ready, stay ready. And I'm just getting ready for the suits and the free clothes I get from different designers.
Is Ryan Garcia ready?
Ryan Garcia is definitely mentally, physically, and spiritually ready to make the return back to the ring. Boy, how time flies when you're having fun, or in some cases when you finding your inner self, finding your inner soul, your inner spirit. And when things happen in between those times, you get to reflect. I'm assuming that any human being, whether we agree to disagree, even if it's myself or anyone else, get a chance to reflect when you sat down for a minute. And when you sat down or you sit down for a minute, you get a chance to reflect. And those reflections could be anything. And they could be life-changing, and it could be career-changing, and it could be all above. So I look, this might be strange to most people, and corny people that might hear this. They got a lot of corny people out there. This might be the biggest blessing that Ryan Garcia received, based on having the time to reflect and things personally with his family, his mother, his kids. He get to look back now at the first chapter, and now he's at the second act when he returns back to the ring. I could imagine how huge that's going to be from the haters and the supporters. That's going to be an event itself. I believe that's going to be an event itself, based on the popularity. And people are curious about curious people.
Absolutely. And with Ryan, as a former fighter yourself, do you see any merits in this lawsuit with Haney? I mean, it seems like it's a little first time we're seeing something like this after a fight.
I'll let the judge and the fans and the peers of that state, when it gets to that, rule on what they need to rule. We know what we saw in spite of the world. And I believe that's the last picture and the last sight that they remember Devin Haney from, is in that ring fighting Ryan Garcia. Whatever comes after that is soap opera-ish, and it will continue to be that. It just takes time, patience, and of course lawyers.
Oscar said that he thinks Devin's a shot fighter. Do you agree with that? After that, after that kind of a beating, he believes Devin will be a shot fighter.
I believe every tough fight of that magnitude, or even bigger, takes anything out of the strongest fighter in any weight class. I mean, I don't believe and think the body is built and made to be beat on. That itself, look at football players. Look at running backs compared to a tight end or to a punter, whose career mostly it's going to last longer, the running back or the punter. I'll go with the punter. So look at boxing in that magnitude, and then if you add on the style of the fighter, the approach or lack of the fighter, could be within 10 years he's out of there. If he's lucky, he get 10.
Mm-hmm. Oscar said he met with Ryan today. I'm sure you're a part of those conversations.
I met with him also. We met with him together.
What's the plan for him? What do you think a great return date and opponent would look like for Ryan?
Right now, Ryan is enjoying his family and his time that he had, and he's also told me he missed boxing, because I asked him. In the middle of a conversation of something different and different conversation, I asked him, because I felt that he missed it. And as a former pugilist, I understand, based on what I'm hearing, based on what I'm feeling, and looking him straight in his eyes and asking him, you miss boxing, don't you, Ryan? He said, yeah, man. And a smile. He literally smiled got up, we hugged and grabbed each other and embraced each other, that it's almost over. But Ryan got a plan, and this plan is going to be great, and people are going to hear that real soon, before he's eligible to come back in the ring.
Would that be something like in December, maybe Bernard in Japan? Because we've heard thoughts of him fighting in Japan in an exhibition.
Are you sleeping in his closet or under his bed?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, your whispers is not too far off, my buddy. But let me tell you something. It's going to be something big. It's going to be something, I believe. I look at it as a commercial of what's to come next when he's eligible to get back in the sweet science of competition with a loaded weight division that he's a part of in this era that he's part of. And I'm pretty sure Elliot Setback can agree to that there are many, many good fights out there for Ryan to be in, that boxing do need those type of fights that he can be a part of in this second act going forward. And know what? Wherever he fights at, which I'm biased, I would want it to be in America first. I want it to be here first. Big stadium, big soccer stadium. And then we move on to the bigger and better things. But, it's all up to Ryan. And what I heard today, other than when he's asked from me, do you miss boxing? I just can't wait to the time come when we be able to, the world be able to see Ryan second act. I'm excited to see the second act.
PBC, like the Gervonta Davis rematch, do you think that's something we can see in 2025?
And listen, that's a fight that would do a great in popularity, and also whether Ryan can, to some, redeem himself based on the last fight, that he really feels that the first fight with Davis, we know how that went, and the second fight, he looked at that, he got a victory, but it turned into what we know it is now, a violation and also a whole bunch of scrutiny. He feels that he still haven't reached over that hump where he win a fight, move on, get the respect, get the accolades that come with those big super fights, and move on to something bigger and better after that achievement. But that didn't happen. And it's not saying it didn't happen because of someone else, it happened because of the circumstances. But it comes a time where you have to, as we spoke at this meeting, to not look at what's in the back of you, the rear window or mirror. You must look in the now and in the future. And he's committed to do that from his words. He's committed to do that. That's what he gave me an Oscar, and everybody else was at that meeting. That he's ready to go forward when that time comes. But in between time, he's going to prepare himself physically and mentally to step in that ring for the second act. You only get two in reality of boxing. Beginning, which is the establishment, and then the second half is defending, building Hall of Fame status and credibility even more in history. So his return, from my perspective, I said it to him. When you say it to him, when you see him, when you interview him, I said the second act, what does that mean? He'll tell you.